Welcome to Photo Finds. I am your host Kevin Yee. Let's get started because this week we've got a lot of ground to cover. First, last week we mentioned that a guard shack was missing from Disney's Hollywood Studios next to Backlot Express, and a number of you didn't know what this referred to. This is the guard shack as seen a few years ago. As you see, this still says Disney MGM Studios. It was later changed to say Disney Hollywood Studios across the top. But this is the section that has now been completely removed, and the concrete's just brand new right there. There was another guard shack over on the other side of the ABC commissary. This is next to the exit to Great Movie Ride, and wouldn't you know it, I forgot to double check whether this was here this last week. I kind of think it was missing though, because they had a photo op location set up here for Star Wars weekends. Now here's something new over at Universal. They've got their own kind of PhotoPass system set up here. Now if you recognize this scene from Jurassic Park, this is the new stanchion. Let's take a closer look at it here. You pick up a card from on top and scan it, and then you turn around and look behind you at one of these cameras where there's a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then it snaps your photo standing next to the dinosaur. There's no human involved, although on the day we visited, there was a person there looking at it and giving out the cards. Now, we're going to switch over to Fantasyland, where we've got a few pictures of the construction ongoing. There's Prince Eric's castle with some fine detail coming into one of the balconies, and the back wall of the kind of castle area. And we are here as well looking at Snow White's Scary Adventures, which closes on May 31st. Depending on when you're watching this, it may already have closed by the time you get to see this recording. Still in the Magic Kingdom, Meet Merida has opened. This is the location formerly used for Rapunzel. And as we step inside, we see that the stone table is still here, although they're not using it in nearly the same way. They're using it for coloring now. This is the area where Merida herself will be, and in these boxes in the back will pop up 3 little bears, which I won't spoil for you. And then kids are allowed to partake in the archery, and now this is the bow and arrow, and this is the front of the arrow. As you can see, it's got a kind of soft backing, and you can see the netting behind it as well, that hopefully the kids won't hit anything except the target. There's Merida herself and the 3 bears that pop out of the backdrop. Still in the Magic Kingdom, this is at the exit to Haunted Mansion. This has been a new addition where kids and guests can just pose with this kind of turning you into one of the statuary at the Haunted Mansion. This is the backside view of it, so you see that it's a semi-heavy and semi-permanent addition to the Haunted Mansion. At Pinocchio Village House, they have added a couple of new items. These are flatbreads, pepperoni, barbecue chicken, and caprese, and I'm going to show you in a little bit an example of the caprese flatbread. First, we'll switch over to Big Thunder, which has reopened this past week. It reopens officially on Monday. The 28th is when it reopened on Memorial Day. These geysers aren't working, but the geysers right behind me are the ones facing the river, and the geysers in the river on the ride, are working again. Many of the attraction special effects had been broken in recent years. They're now working. This is the revised queue. A couple of things to note here. First, they've got air conditioning ducts in the ceiling here, although they weren't doing much on the day we visited for soft opening. These boxes are presumably part of the Next Generation experience, although it's not clear what it is they do. They're fairly inert. There's nothing to push. There's no physical effects in the line, but it's clear that something is coming later on. And the line itself has been rebuilt with new wood, new floors, even new decorative features here. Watch your heads and your kids' heads as you go around the corners for these little beauties. There's that functioning geyser. And here's a hidden Mickey at the end of the ride. Looks a little bit like a pig from Angry Birds to me. There's that flatbread I promised. This is the caprese in the front and the barbecue chicken in the back. It's about $10 for a fairly long-sized plate, oval-shaped plate, and it was actually quite tasty. I do recommend this as something to check out the next time you're looking for fast food at the Magic Kingdom. Here we are at the Haunted Mansion, where just before going in, the Leota statue is on your left, the tombstone. These signs have been added to those front doors. Now, also new this past week was the summer version of Magic Memories in You, and this was Phineas and Ferb kicked it off because Phineas and Ferb knows what they're going to do, something new for summer vacation every day. Well, this is the summer-themed castle projections. What we have in front of us is a sand castle. They also move through Lion King scenes as well as Transition scenes, there's crushes involved as well in the Lion King part. I just enjoyed the colorful aspect of this one here until finally we get to Ariel, and then it returns back to the previous show. Over at Epcot, they've started removing the Flower and Garden Festival. This was the Butterfly Garden, and you can see its structure is still there, but not much is left inside. Down the walkway from there, they've left the playground near the Rose Garden because it's going to be used for this zone here. This is across that walkway on the Highland Games. This is themed to the movie Brave, yet to come out. Kids will take part in interactive sort of games, just like the archery we saw at Meet Merida. And they've got a new sand sculpture here as well for Brave, replacing the chimpanzee sand sculpture. This went up very quickly once they decided to transition from Flower and Garden. Just a quick check-in at the Living with the Land ride. There hasn't been much going on the left side here at the very end of the ride, which was formerly a NASA exhibit, for a fairly long time since they've lost their sponsor. In Innoventions, Kim Possible Adventure, of course, is gone, being replaced by the Agent P Adventure. And so this is behind walls. And then to the left of me here, I just couldn't remember how long this picket fence had been here all the way around the fire engine. My memory suggests that you used to be able to walk straight through to the fire engine and then to that little burning house. So that's probably been a change for quite some time. Now, as we leave the Disney property, looking at 192, this is 192 East and 192 West. And 192 East, this entire lane is closed off. This is noteworthy because this bridge had been flagged as potentially dangerous, and the structure couldn't really withstand a lot of weight. And so for a fairly long time, a year or so ago, they had this lane blocked off. Now, they recently reopened it several months ago, but it looks like they've blocked it off again now. So perhaps the engineers have decided that lane is not to be used. So a little bit of mistrust for me on that when it comes to that bridge. Now we're going to head down the 27 and visit Legoland, where we haven't been in some months. I don't recall seeing this "Wish You Were Here" sign made out of Legos at the front, sponsored by Ford, of course. The carousel has had its horses replaced with Lego-looking horses. I thought that was an appropriate touch. And at the top of the carousel, you've got these Lego designs as well in a minifigure. Now, just to the left of this was a former butterfly garden. That's back here when it was in Cypress Gardens days. And as we step inside, we see it's been completely rethemed. There's kind of a farm and food theme going on here, although lots of different types of outdoor activities, or little alligators and so forth, mermaids hanging out here, all done with Legos. Here's whitewater rafting happening again with Legos. These figures don't move. And then up the road just a little bit, this store has been renamed to the Lego Friends, a somewhat new brand that wasn't there when Legoland first opened. We're here to take in Legoland Water Park, which is refreshingly named Legoland Water Park. It just opened this past weekend. And unfortunately on the day we were there, which was Memorial Day itself, there were storms, and so shortly after we stepped foot inside, everyone was told to clear out of the water, and so there was not a lot of opportunity to take photos from within the water, although here you can see the lazy river. And coming around the corner you can see the wave pool, and they've added some touches here that were not present when this was owned by Cypress Gardens. Remember, most of this was from when it was Cypress Gardens. They've either rethemed or purchased a new water playground around the corner. You can see the Legoland branding up at the top here. They've got a lot of these giant umbrellas set up so that people can avoid some of the sun, or in this case the rain, although if the rain is bad enough it'll keep coming through. Some more Lego theming around the buildings, and then again on the benches made from recycled milk jugs, we're told. A little bit of Lego theming amidst the bleachers, and here's a little bit of an interactive Lego brick area right next to the wave pool. Now off in the distance there, you didn't see it, but there were a couple of tall slides as well. The entire area really was unchanged except for a few cosmetic changes from when it was the Cypress Gardens water park. Switching to Universal Studios Florida, SpongeBob StorePants is the name of this revised store near the E.T. Adventure. And as we step inside, you'll see there's quite a bit of theming inside this store. It really is highest level of quality and theming to store operations that we've seen. So I was pretty impressed by this. There's a photo location behind this, although they're not there at the moment. This was fairly late into the evening when we were taking these shots. Now you see there's a bit of a sense of humor to all of the signs here. For example, they're making things on sale that are not really on sale. But overall, it was a worthwhile experience, and we'll be back to that store. We like its sense of humor. While I'm on the subject here of sales, I'd like to remind that not only do I have an ebook chronicling the Walt Disney World changes, there's one for 2010 and one for 2011. Both of them are now also available on Kindle as well as from Amazon as a paperback. Thanks for your attention. We'll catch you next time.